each and every one of you have got the power within you. But did you know that the human mind has more than 60,000 thoughts a day? Did you also know that 80% of those thoughts are negative? So raise your hand if you'd like to have more positive thoughts daily. And raise your hand again if you'd like even more success in your life. And say aye. So where are you now? Where are you now? Perhaps you're working for somebody and you're sat in that team meeting, afraid to speak up, because perhaps you're frightened of what other people might think about your opinions. And you're saying to yourself, I could do that job. And the application comes along and you don't even bother replying for it. Perhaps you're saying to yourself, well, it wasn't for me anyway. And maybe you'd like to work for yourself. You'd like to create your own business. And then you're saying, well, who the heck am I to think I could even start my own business? And perhaps you've already started your business and you'd love to grow and scale. But you're wondering whether you've got the right expertise. So you delay it and put it to one side. So raise your hands if you've ever put things to one side in your life, or even any time in your life you've procrastinated. And for those who haven't put their hand up, maybe even now. So that's what we call procrastination. And for some of you here, you maybe fear what other people are thinking about you. Will they believe in you? Will they take you seriously? Do they really want to listen to what you've got to say? And we call that imposter syndrome. So, is there something else? Maybe it's those voices in your head. Those voices that are saying, this isn't for you. You can't do that. Let somebody else do it. So that's what we call self-sabotage. And when you're doing something, I can hear a few of you laughing. I wonder why. So when you're doing something, we might as well add the ing. So could this be what you're actually doing? P-I-S-ing. All over yourself. That's not very pleasant, is it? So moving on. Where would you rather be? You filled in that application, you're in the interview room, your boss is congratulating you, saying, well done, you're the perfect person for this role. And you're feeling full of self-belief. And you decided that now is the right time to start that business that you'd kept putting off for so long. And you're feeling really happy. And you've decided to grow and scale your business because you decided now is the right time. You have got the right expertise. You have got the right knowledge. You can do it. So, as you're feeling you're now full of self-belief, You're happy. You're making constant improvements every day. And it all feels perfectly natural. You're feeling, I should have been doing this a long time ago. And now, you're feeling excited about your future. Every single one of you now feel excited, which means you're shining all over you. In fact, you're shining everywhere. So, if this is where you are, P-I-S-S-ing all over yourself, and you'd rather be shining all over yourself, how are you going to get there? Well, I believe the way to do this is with successful behaviour patterns. So what do I mean by successful behaviour patterns? What I mean is successful people are willing to do the things that those who aren't successful are not prepared to do. Successful people, when they fail, they get back up again because they believe failure is the next step to success. Whereas those who aren't so successful, they fail once, they fail twice, and they say, well, it's not for me anyway. Didn't work out. Why does it happen to me? Successful people, they ask successful questions. They ask empowering questions. They ask, how can I do this? How can I make this work? What do I have to do next? Who can I get to help me? Whereas those who aren't so successful say, well, it's not for me. Why does this always happen to me? Why didn't it work out? And they abandon their dream. So, does this sound familiar? Has this happened to you in the room? Say, raise your hand. Thank you. So you may be wondering why I'm so passionate about what I do. Well, let me tell you about a client of mine. Meet Judith. Now, I met Judith at a networking event I attend. And she decided to take me on as her business coach. Now, Judith runs her own HR company, and we met at her offices. Judith is a really good lookalike for Lorraine Kelly, you know, the TV presenter. And like Lorraine, Judith loves to chat. Her offices are bright and clear and surrounded by tropical plants. I can hear that constant clicking of her pen. You know, that irritating noise? I can see that Judith is irritated. And I felt there was something that she wanted to tell me. So what is it, Judith? Jacqueline, I just don't know where to begin. I know I'm capable of so much more. I know I can do so much better, but I just meet my deadlines only just, and everything else gets put on the back burner, and I just don't get round to doing it. And it's driving me crazy. Judith, how long has this been going on for? Jacqueline, I'm always doing it for as long as I can remember. I never achieve. So Judith, when were you actually told and congratulated for achieving something? Jacqueline, I just can't remember that ever happening to me. And Judith poured her story out to me. So Judith, when are you going to make a change? How long are you going to let this go on for? So we started to unravel Judith's story and to find out where this was a repetitive pattern in her life. Jacqueline, let me ask you a question. Why do you do what you do? Aren't you fed up of working with people like me? Well, thank you, Judith, for asking that question. A lot of people ask me that question. And I actually love what I do. But it wasn't always like that. It's 2005, and I'm in the corporate world, bringing in all the business, keeping my team of 40 staff employed, keeping the staff happy, keeping the customers happy, keeping the stakeholders happy, making a profit. But I always felt that there was something missing. And that same year, I'm with my big brother, Richard. Now, Rick is not only a good lookalike, he is a double of a younger version of Cliff Richards. He's a good-looking guy. Rick and I used to go walking on the beach together, talking and chatting together. And he's always happy, and he's got that young, boyish face, and he's always happy. But it wasn't like that today. As I'm sat opposite him in his hospital bed. The senior doctor had just called me in to say, if there's anybody who needs to say goodbye, I would get them here in the next 24 hours. This cancer is so aggressive. And I'm sat next to Rick thinking, how did it come to this? I only saw you a month ago, and you look so well. Jax, I'm 11 years older than you. I'm 56 years of age. Do whatever you want to do in your life. Don't hesitate. Do it now. Don't have any regrets. So Judith, I returned to after my compassionate leave, I returned to my corporate job. Another great big opportunity came in to bring in loads of business. I worked really hard. I brought enough business in to keep my staff employed, my 40 staff employed for the next 4 years. I think I'd done enough. But had I? At the same time, I started to put in place my exit strategy. So today, Judith, I'm here today doing what I love. I'd always wanted to run my own business, helping people like yourself. So, Judith, how long are you going to wait? 11 years? Or are you going to act now? So have you ever thought you're capable of so much more, but there's something that's just holding you back and you can't quite put your finger on it? Well, that's just how Judith felt. So Judith decided now was the time to make some changes in her life. And we started to work together. We worked together personally at first to increase her self-belief so that she could now have more belief and more empowering ways of working within herself. And then we worked together professionally together as well. So within her business life, she was now working with more empowering ways forward. So we worked together for several months. So where is Judith today? Well, several months later, I was at the same networking event with Judith. Jacqueline, how are you? I'm great, Judith, but how are you? Jacqueline, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing today. I'm not putting anything on hold anymore. I'm not procrastinating. I get everything done, and it's all down to you. And I was presenting in front of the board, and they were loving the strategic plan that we'd put together for the business for the next 3 years. And it's all down to you. I decided I was going to make that change, and I'm so glad I did. Well, Judith's business now has flourished as a result of her making those changes. And 2 years later, she's reached her first million, which is brilliant, which was her dream, to get to her first million in her business. So, when is the right time to make a change? Making a change will make all the difference in your life. Making a change now. So what would you do? When would you make your change? Would you wait 11 years? Or would you do it now? Making a change now could mean you're now the CEO of a company, working strategically with the board, and everybody's listening to you. Making that decision now and making that change now, when you decided you would start your own business, could mean in 11 years' time, you've got a flourishing business. And you're really glad you made that decision. And you that wanted to scale and grow your business, you've now, in 11 years' time, got a business that's ready to sell, that's going to bring you an income in for the rest of your life, as several of my clients have done. So when is the right time to make a change? Well, I've developed the business mindset reset to help people like Judith. Now, I'm very humbled to say that today I'm an mindset expert. I'm an award-winning business coach. I'm an international speaker, award-winning international speaker, and also a DISC personality trainer. And I have helped hundreds of people to grow, scale, and thrive in their business. And Rick's words are with me every single day. Not only because they're in my head, but also because they come out of the voices of my clients. So I'd like to give you a little bit of extra value. So the business mindset reset, as you can see, is an 8-module program. And I'd love to go into all of the modules with you today, but to give you some extra value, I'm going to talk about belief. So what are beliefs? Beliefs are those things that you think are true. They're things that you've been told in the past. They're things that you've heard in the past. And they're things which are based upon your past experiences. Now, we were all told as children that there was Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairy. And then there was a day where you found out that was no longer true. So what else possibly could you have been told that's not true? Yet your beliefs create your thoughts, they create your behaviours, and they create your actions going forward. So the next one is state. The third one is state. So what do I mean by state? What I mean by state is, if you say to yourself, my life is shite, which is just a posh word for shit, the chances are that's how your life will be. But if you say to yourself, my life is getting better and better every single day, then the chances are that's how your life will be. So how do you arrive at the state? Well, your state is derived from your beliefs. So I ask you, what state do you live in? What I teach my clients in the state is how to have more empowering states so that their behaviours will allow them to have more success going forward. So when is the right time to make a change? Well, it's certainly not in 11 years' time. It's not next year. It's not next week. It's not tomorrow. The time to make a change is now. Because the fact is, we only have now. Yesterday has gone. And the actions and the decisions that you make today will create your tomorrow. So I believe we're going to have a break in a moment. Is that correct, Cheryl? But before I do, I think I mentioned to you earlier, in belief, in my book, I write about belief in my book, Aspiring to Mastery, the foundation, which I've got on my stand at the back. And this book is free to the first person who puts their hand up now. Fantastic, the lady at the back there. Hey, well done. Could you pass this to the lady at the back? Thank you. Thank you. Now that lady acted in the now. And she got a great result. Well done. So, I'd love to invite you to my stand, which is just at the back of the room, where I can explain a little bit more about the business mindset reset, and also about my book, Aspiring to Mastery. And guess what? I'm going to ask you now.